Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, failed comedian Sarah Silverman has a new show that's apparently she's going to traverse the United States, talking to people of various political demographics. I'm going to read this, but I got to be honest. Nothing that I read in this is going to matter. I'm never going to watch this show. Millions of people are never going to watch this show. For a very specific reason. There's a very specific thing in our head when we think of Sarah Silverman. Let me give her due. This is The Guardian. There's one part that I thought was actually kind of funny. Alright, but the comment, I'm skipping the first paragraph. But the comic Sarah Silverman, with a new Hulu show aptly called I Love You, America, is out to prove that patriotism transcends partisanship. The show, which premieres on October 12th, is being billed as social politics sandwich, stacked with meaty perspectives of Americans across the ideological spectrum. As Silverman explained recently, it's not quite sketch comedy, not quite stand-up, not quite a talk show, and I would probably add not quite funny. Probably it's not quite funny. I have to be honest, I can never really get into Sarah Silverman's act. So I'm being somewhat snarky in this piece. But the snark is not necessarily coming from a place that's not true. I just don't like her comedy. Instead, it's kind of comic cross-country pilgrimage, revealing an awkward and often obstinate encounters between people who see eye to eye on practically nothing. In one episode, Silverman, who is Jewish, will dine with a family who had never met a Jew. And another, she hosts Megan Phelps Roper, a former member of the Westboro Baptist Church. The comic's inclination to engage those who disagree with her and even offend her materialized in the wake of Donald Trump's election. As her sister, Susan, told the New York Times, she was sobbing, beside herself, like her guts were coming out. But in that conversation, she said, we have to start listening to each other, and we can't go on like this in our echo chambers. Silverman, generally sarcastic and idiosyncratic, seems ennobled by the country's intense polarization too. You never change someone's mind by arguing, she added. That's a good point. You don't change people's mind by arguing. I read all that and I gotta be honest, I don't care. I don't even care what's in the rest of this article, even though I'm going to put it in the bottom. When I think of Sarah Silverman, I think of a very specific point. Let's take a look at this for a moment. So, let's see.
I'm Senator Al Franken, and this past year, I've been #I'm with her.
By the way, just to give this context, we're at the DNC convention. Sanders was running a race. Hillary is running a race. Sanders was cheated. At this point, we understand that Sanders was cheated. People knew it. WikiLeaks kind of gave evidence to back up what the people already knew. They're being cheated. Their guy was cheated. Now, the people were essentially going with this idea of Bernie bust. You had some people there with tape on their mouths. You had other people weeping and crying at what was taking place. And Sarah Silverman, who was supposed to be on the side of Bernie Sanders originally, came out with this.
Year I've been feeling the burn. Relax, I put some cream on it.
What'd you say?
I said I put some cream on it.
You see, Sarah's the comedian, so she gets the joke, and I'm the politician now, so I get to make what's known as an ask. But trust me, it's a good ask. You see, if you go to HillaryClinton.com before midnight tonight and join the team, you can be not just #I'm with her in spirit, but #I'm with her literally. As in, you could win a trip to Philadelphia to be here on Thursday night when Hillary accepts the nomination. You see her? See, Sarah? That's even more fun than getting to get the joke.
Oh, well, Al, you still got it.
Oh.
But well, while we're on the subject, can I make my speech now?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
Thank you. Al, get out of my frame. As some of you may know, I support Bernie Sanders and the movement.
By the way, there's something to be said for certain people who said they were supporting Sanders originally, then turned around and supported Hillary Clinton. It's not necessarily crazy. It's not always politics that a person supported one, then supported the other. But some of it is politics. You do have some people who supported Bernie Sanders with this idea that we can be a bridge to get Bernie supporters to support Hillary Clinton. It's just what it was. You had people who were writing to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Some of the emails were released from WikiLeaks. People saying, hey, I can be a bridge to get Bernie supporters to con those people to vote for you, to make them think that I'm on their side, and then at the last minute to turn around and say, hey, now we need to vote for Hillary Clinton. Yes, those people exist. It's politics. Let's keep going.
Behind him. And Bernie's already succeeded in so many ways. He proved that Citizens United is in fact not a necessary evil. And by the way, Citizens United, isn't that such a beautiful name for something that means billionaires buying politicians? Good Lord.
Now, she's saying this. Hillary Clinton got $1 billion to run in the race. $1 billion. And she's talking about billionaires buying politicians. The person that she supported was being bought at the exact moment that she's saying and decrying billionaires being bought by politicians. That's awesome. Let's keep going.
Rails against the very spirit of our democracy. And I'm very glad that Hillary has vowed to overturn it. Not only did Bernie wake us up, he made us understand what is possible and what we deserve. You know, my shrink says we don't get what we want, we get what we think we deserve. And Bernie showed us that all of America's citizens deserve quality health care and education, not just the wealthy elite. I know, it sounds so obvious. Who wouldn't agree with that? But and yet it's not what's been happening. You know, I happen to believe the crazy notion that people who maybe weren't born with the same opportunities as you and me should be given the same opportunities as you and me. And all it takes to accomplish this is everyone, is all of us. Or as a pretty kick-ass woman once said, it takes a village. This Democratic primary was exemplary. No name-calling, no comments about the size of candidates' hands or ethnicity or how much they sweat or if they go to the bathroom. Inside secret, they do. That stuff is for third graders. Come on. That's like...
I suppose cheating is for adults. I suppose cheating is for adults. It's like, the stuff that the Republicans were doing were childish. But what we did in the Democratic Party was exemplary. We completely kneecapped and cheated a guy. That's fucking amazing. Let's keep going, keep going.
Major Arrested Development stuff. That's, I'm still emotionally for and calling people names from my golden-crusted sandbox because I was given money instead of human touch or coping tools stuff. But I digress. I've just been told to stretch. Hillary heard the passion of the people behind Bernie, and brought those passions into the party's platform. And that is the process of democracy at its very best. And it's very cool to see.
That's awesome.
Hillary is our Democratic nominee, and I will proudly vote for her. It's so inspiring.
Did you see that guy sign, "Us, not me"? He's making a point. Hillary Clinton is what? I'm with her. And he's making the point, look, the whole point is us. It's not one individual. This idea that you're with her, what the hell does that even mean? It's not about her. It's not about her wanting to be president just because she wants to be president. It doesn't work that way. This speech by Sarah Silverman is fucking ridiculous. It's one of those speeches that in no way takes into account the actual events that took place and physical matter reality that everybody was aware of. It is a weird scenario when you're looking at Morning Joe, and Morning Joe is saying, hey, it looks like they're cheating the guy. It looks like they're actually cheating the guy. It looks like the Democratic Party cheated one of the primary contestants in that party. The idea that Sarah Silverman saw this and turned around and said, okay, you cheated my guy, now I'm with her. And let's pretend as if everything that took place in the primary was fucking exemplary. And now everybody needs to vote for Hillary Clinton. It doesn't work that way. Let's keep going.
Just a few years ago, she was a secretary, and now she's going to be president.
No, she's not. She was. No, she didn't. She did not become president. I understand, Sarah, that in your mind, you believe that she was inevitable. Everybody kept telling you that that woman was inevitable. They said to the cows come home, she is fucking inevitable. How dare you say she's not inevitable? This woman is going to be president of the United States. She was not inevitable. She almost lost to a socialist after being cheated. I mean, mind you, she needed to cheat him in order to exceed him to win. And then she turned around and lost a reality show host. That is the opposite of inevitable. That is something that never took place. It is kind of comical. As a comedian, and it's slightly ironic. You don't know you're making a joke, but you're making a joke. Purely of yourself. Let's keep going.
I mean, come on. She's like the only person ever to be overqualified for a job as the president. So I tell you this, I will vote for Hillary with gusto.
I don't mean to keep stopping this. I don't mean to be stopping this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be stopping this. I hate these narratives. She's the most qualified person ever to be president. She's the most qualified person in any dimension of any physical matter reality to be president. With the exception of a Hillary Clinton and some other reality that may be slightly more qualified. But we don't know that Hillary Clinton exists, so this Hillary Clinton is the most qualified person in the universe for any position at all. And then you start bringing up things where she failed at. And it's almost as if the failures are completely ignored, or they just completely bypass. You bring up the fact that she was under criminal investigation for a year. And if anybody else was running in a race where they were under an FBI criminal investigation, they would have been hauled out the race. This woman could have been locked up. And they're calling her inevitable at the exact same time that she could have been locked up. I find this to be fucking amazing. Just keep going. This narrative, she's the most qualified person in the world to do XYZ. Just understand that's your talking point. There's a reality to it. Yes, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Yes, she was in the office with her husband. I don't know what her being married to Bill Clinton has to do with qualifications for presidency, whatever. And yeah, she was in the Senate. But when you look at one foreign policy disaster after the next, and you're using this idea of qualified, we have different ideas of what qualified means. Let's keep going. One of my qualifications is not starting a war with Russia. So.
As I continue to be inspired and moved to action by the ideals set forth by Bernie, who will never stop fighting for us. I am proud to be a part of Bernie's movement, and a vital part of that movement is making absolutely sure that Hillary Clinton is our next president of the United States. Booyah, Baba Booey.
I wonder, did she write that speech? Did she write that speech? So there was a situation in the book Shattered. Yes, I love that book Shattered, where a speech was given to Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders was like, ugh, it's so phony. I can't say it. Like, I have this image in my head of him just completely demurring. And yes, I know he's like this kind of harsh Brooklyn accent, but still, in my head, it's, ugh, I can't say it. I can't say it. It's too phony. The speech sounds to me as if a speechwriter was trying to come up with a justification that a Bernie Sanders voter can use to vote for Hillary Clinton in good conscience. That's what it sounds like. This kind of technocrat coming up with this kind of technical argument of why it's okay to vote for Hillary Clinton, and why it's a must to vote for Hillary Clinton, while at the same token still retaining your values as a Bernie Sanders voter. Whatever. Let's keep going. We're not at the drama yet. Yeah, we're not even at the drama yet. Keep going.
Gee, that was pretty good, Sarah. Hillary. Hillary.
The Bernie, can I just say, to the Bernie or bust people, you're being ridiculous.
You know how to end your career? If you're a comedian, do you know how to end your career immediately, at least with regards to a certain segment of the population? Right there. You tell those people who were cheated and who were maligned and all this other stuff, who were told to fall in line, who was literally sitting out there crying and being shut up, that they're being ridiculous. You need to fall in line and vote for Hillary Clinton like I am falling in line and voting for Hillary Clinton. You're being ridiculous. Good luck on your stupid show. Good luck. Let's see the rest of this.
He told us to stretch, so I figured I'd add that. They made me cut off my speech, and now we have to stretch.
Oh, she's feeling herself. Now, if you would have said that in a moment of, oh, I'm getting angry because people are booing me, but then to be feeling yourself after you say it, oh, that makes it worse. That makes it worse. You have a bunch of Hillary supporters, a bunch of Hillbots. You have a bunch of Bernie Sanders supporters who are being shut up. For the most part, the crowd was probably on your side because you have more Hillary people in that particular room. So yeah, you're probably going to be feeling yourself with this idea of the majority against this silent and broken minority. Fair enough. You're feeling yourself. All I'm saying is there's going to be millions of people just like me who saw that, and their entire understanding of Sarah Silverman is going to be boiled down to, you people who were cheated and maligned are being ridiculous. Get your head right and vote for the warmonger. And vote for the warmonger that I myself am supporting. Because voting for this warmonger, who's not really going to do anything, who's going to hand over all this stuff to Wall Street, is somehow in your best interest. Fall in line. Alright. I'm just saying, this is my view of Sarah Silverman. So, there's more to this video. Hold on, let me see what else is in this video. I remember this part. There may be more. Let's check.
Oh, I have so much I want to say.
Well, okay, you know, what? Listen to that. Listen to that. Listen to what you did. This is a comedian. This is the power of comedy.
Thank God they can fix this in post.
You know, we have been I want to thank you because Sarah and I have been asked to stretch because we are about to introduce someone.
Okay, at this point, I think she's, I think that may be her tell. Like, that's this thing of, okay, these people are bullying me and I need to put on a face because I don't necessarily want to show my real face. Whatever. The Bernie busters are being ridiculous. Yeah, that's where you lost me. I'm sorry, that's where you lost me. The entirety of your life, the rest of your life is going to be boiled down to that moment of you people are being ridiculous. At least to me. Other people may be better people than I am. I am not. I guess my feeling was you had all of those people out there who were already hurt and pissed off. And they were right to be pissed off. So, you know, it's one of those things of you're making little or making light of something that was a big fucking deal in regards to not just Sanders supporters, whether you realize it or not, but the idea of representative government in concept. I mean, let's not trivialize what took place. Two candidates ran an election. One candidate was cheated in order to exceed the other candidate. That's what took place. Now, there's certain things that Bernie Sanders could have done better. He should have attacked her earlier on. He should have been going after her balls out, etc. All that stuff is true. All that stuff is fair point. He should have ran a scorched earth campaign against all that stuff is true. He didn't think he was going to win originally, so fair enough. But this still boils down to one of the parties in the primaries hitting one of the other guys in the knees in order to help the other candidate get into the election. And then she lost to the guy who she ran against. Changing the ruler of a country is not a minor thing. Like, you're talking about this thing where a government itself is the people of that government. All of these people with differing and competing interests, all of these people who want different things, are struggling and pulling at each other, trying to get those things accomplished. All of these different special interests. In trying to make the determination on how our society is being led, you have some kind of political apparatus that governs and controls that process. It tries to normalize the process of putting somebody in office. That way you don't have this idea of civil war. You're not fighting vicious battles in order to make determination on who rules and who leads. You're toppling a republic. You're toppling a rulership when one government leaves and another one comes in. The idea that you would have a situation where that process is corrupted because one of the parties cheats, that's immensely problematic. That's immensely problematic. Just for the concept of representative government or people choosing their leadership, that is immensely problematic. The idea that Hillary Clinton was plucked and picked and it was supposedly her turn is immensely problematic. It's immensely problematic. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily light. And this idea that she's like, you guys need to get over it. Not so much. Not so much. Yeah. Good luck on your show. Good luck on your show. The failed thing that it would ultimately be. Dax Jacobson, fix this and post my ass. Burn it. Yeah, fix this and post my ass is right. Fuck that. Post-production. Thank God they can't fix this in post. I know. She's so smug. I don't know if she's Marcella Stevenson. She's so smug. Yes. I can't tell if that's a mask because of what was taking place or if she was just being fucking asshole. Like, what I mean is how you interact with people on a daily basis. That's not really you. Like, certain things that happens to you, you feel a particular way inside. Your emotions aren't necessarily on your sleeve. At least not in most people. It's not like, you know, somebody slights you and you're crying in your office and all this other stuff. I would imagine that if you're on stage, what is the face that you take that you're most comfortable with? Particularly if that face isn't necessarily the real face. Like, it's easier for me to behave in this particular way because this is not necessarily showing my actual emotions. I don't know. I have to be honest. The comment itself bugged the shit out of me. It actually did bug the shit out of me. The behavior after it made it worse. It's this like, yeah, I told these people, these burners, I told them to go fuck off. Hillary forever, Hillary forever. She's going to be president of the United States. Hey, she wasn't president. Sorry. You failed on that one. And those burners, a lot of them did fall in line. A lot of them did end up voting for Hillary Clinton. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, more Bernie supporters, by percentages, ended up voting for Hillary Clinton than Hillary voters voted for Obama. So, yeah. No, that's not what I mean. Let me see. Bernie or bus bashing Sarah Silverman. Bernie or bus bashing Sarah Silverman. Oh, good point, good point, good point, good point, good point. Good goddamn point. Thank you, Terry. Love Bernie, wish he would have gone independent. War Pratt. Bernie was terrified of being Ralph Nader. Honestly, that's what it was. He was terrified of being Ralph Nader. And I always have this chip on my shoulder about the Ralph Nader thing, because Ralph Nader didn't lose the election for Al Gore. Democrats crafted this idea that the problem in that election was Ralph Nader. The problem in the election wasn't Ralph Nader. The problem in the election was Al Gore and Bill Clinton. That's the point. Mokizimo, $5. Thanks, dude. Why don't we hear this kind of criticism of right-wingers from GOP moderates? Love the show. Keep on keeping on. Ah, thank you. Why don't you hear this kind of criticism of right-wingers from GOP moderates? That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if there are any right-wing moderates. None that I'm aware of. I don't know any. Yeah, I don't know any. Yeah, man. Bernie Sanders, he wasn't going to run as an independent. He was terrified. He was terrified. He assumed that if he ran as an independent, it would lock in the election for Donald Trump. And he was terrified of Donald Trump. So, he thought it would split the vote. And he was right. It would have split the vote. I mean, he would have had somewhat of a hurdle to overcome, because you would have had Hillbots who would have just voted for Hillary and toed the line. Progressives would have voted for Bernie. You end up with this kind of split. Or you would have had a situation where a lot of progressives would have been terrified to vote for Sanders because they would have been scared of Trump, in which case Bernie Sanders would have gotten a pretty decent percentage, but not necessarily a percentage enough to win, given the election to Trump. Now, you can say all of this is somewhat of a moot point because Donald Trump won anyway. Yes, you can say that. But from the perspective of, what, 8 months ago? Yeah, that was, yeah, most people didn't know Trump was going to win. Most people assumed, particularly on the left, or in Democratic circles, that Hillary Clinton was inevitable and she was a lock. And they were wrong. They were infinitely wrong. Trump is president because the vote was split. Yeah, it would have been split if he would have ran. Yeah. Yeah. Or it could have been worse. It could have been a situation where Congress, it would have been thrown to Congress, this right-wing Republican Congress. So he was terrified. That's what it boiled down to. I call me petty, but I have to be honest. When I saw Sarah Silverman thing come up, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh no, fuck that. Here's one more show that I would never ever see. I was like, here's one more thing that I wouldn't see. And I read the article purely from just the standpoint of wanting to dismiss whatever I was reading. That sounds bad. It's true. It's true. Terry J123. You always make excuses for Bernie. Look at the BS he's doing now. I am not making excuses for Bernie. What am I making an excuse about? I'm not making an excuse, man. I haven't even made an argument for Bernie at all in this. The entire piece, all of this, really boiled down to this thing of you had a lot of people who invested a lot of what they believed in, a lot of their hopes into Sanders. That's not a defense of Sanders. That's just somewhat of a flat fact. So let's be honest. You also had a lot of people who were also like woken out of complacency by Bernie Sanders. That's, you know, that's not me taking up for Sanders. That's, again, somewhat of a flat fact. So give the man his due. In this scenario, how many people were you antagonistic towards Sanders at the DNC convention? Yes or no? Now, if the answer is no, and you weren't antagonistic towards Sanders at the DNC convention, then you were probably one of those people who were looking at the television upset, angry, and pissed off that A, they cheated him, and B, they were going through this convention as if everything just went fucking awesome. You're one of those people who are pissed off. That's what I'm getting at. When Silverman came out and made that speech, I would imagine that you were one of the people, one of the Bernie busters, who said, oh, fuck that. Fuck that. You can go fuck yourself. I would imagine you're one of them. How's that me protecting Sanders? If anything, that's me talking about something that took place in some kind of historical context. Somewhat of a flat fact. You don't take a knee, then resurface with your lips pressed against Hillary's rear. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Diesel does. Kevin, Democrats are lower than that. Jay Scott. So Bernie running independent wouldn't have mattered at all. Still get Trump. Yes, I'd agree. That's true. I agree. I don't think he could have won as an independent. He would have had to win as a Democrat. There's a difference in those things. Like, if you're talking about a situation where Bernie Sanders wins the DNC nomination, he runs as a Democrat, he has the apparatus behind him at that point, there may be some kind of contest against, like, with Jill Scott, but Jill Scott probably wouldn't have ran against him, meaning the Greens would have also voted for him. He would have won outright. But if you're talking about splitting the vote with him, Hillary, and Trump running, then yes, Trump probably would have still won. In fact, Trump would have, I would wager that Trump would have won just from the splitting of the vote. So, yeah. Both the Republicans and Democrats are minority party. Yes and no. Yes and no, Kevin. That's yes and no. Yes, it's true that you have more people who say they're independents, meaning they're like outside of the party system. That's true. But when brass tacks comes in and those people go vote, those people vote one of the two parties. Like, you haven't had this situation where people have broke to the Greens in these record numbers that would take to kind of maul a party or take down a party. That's not what you get. Ultimately, you have people who are programmed to believe that one or two of the parties needs to get your vote. Until that is broken, people can say that, yes, you know, these two parties are minorities. But ultimately, you're still getting one of the two parties. I'm seeing funny things with my connection. It's looking a little weird. Tabitha Enriquez, Gallup party affiliation, Republican has gone up. Come on, come on. There we go. Yeah, my connection was on and off. I'm right-wing moderate, sort of, on some things. I'm right-wing moderate, sort of. I have no idea what that one means. Gallup also putting out fake polling. What do you mean Gallup putting out fake polling? Gallup party affiliation, Topeka Enriquez, September 2017. Uh, 29% Republican, 30% Democrat, 40% Independent. What's wrong with those poll numbers? Those poll numbers look fine to me. Think about it. When you're presidential elections, you have like 50% of the country that don't vote. And they never ask the honest, straightforward, seemingly intuitive question of, hey, why are we getting those 50%? Why can't we cut into the 50% of the population? The political wisdom just goes, well, those people don't vote, they don't vote, we just go with the 50% that we do get. That just seems like a weird calculus to me. Why do you just all of a sudden ignore half of the country? That just seems amazing. I never understand that at all. Bernie was my first choice, Trump was my second. I can understand why, but that's slightly terrifying. Slightly terrifying. Kevin is part of manufacturing consent, and that's also true, yes. People are robots, man. Like, you're raised a particular way. The Eminem thing, Eminem coming out is quote-unquote part of the resistance. This guy who's supposed to be this kind of radical, edgy rapper is now just a Democrat. Whip the fucking do. The edginess, the most radical position that he could take was, I'm in the resistance with the Democrats. That's awesome. People are robots. Even when they're talking about somebody being edgy, it's still edgy within the confines of the degrees of, you know, particular limitation or particular range. Yeah. It's making it look like they have more support than they actually have. Kevin, yes, I think that's because of the other. What I mean is, if you notice, as you go throughout the course of your day, you have this idea of the other. What do other people think? What do other people view? What's the, what does my society look like? What are the expectations of me in relation to my society? What does my society think of me? What do I think of my society? How am I as an individual going to either rebel or accept things that take place in regards to the wider society? It's just there. It's one of those, this idea of the way you judge the outside world, the external world. If you as an individual, for the most part, have this idea of feeling that you're within the fabric of a particular society, would you be more inclined to fall in line with the ideas of that particular society? Well, yes. If you have two political parties as the outlets for political discourse, oftentimes it never occurs to the people to say, hey, maybe we need another party, or maybe we need to take these parties down, or maybe we need to reorganize the way our government is set up. Those things are off the table. People don't even think of those things. Their perspective is usually limited to a two-party system going on in perpetuity, as if perpetuity is some kind of virtue. Yeah, people are robots. People are robots. They don't think about it. They're presented with Democrat or Republican Party affiliation. First, it's how they ask the question to Pete Enriquez. Let's pray for rain to Mosa Young. Yes, vote Trump. Was it big fuck you? Yeah, I heard somebody else say that too. I had a friend of mine who said they voted Trump. Elizabeth Beck said she voted Trump. That's right. Elizabeth Beck, the lawyer who brought the DNC lawsuit. She was like, yeah, I voted for Trump. And I think it was the same thing. A fuck you. A fuck you. You're going to cheat my guy. Fuck you. You're not going to represent the values of what a leftist party is supposed to be, then fuck you. Yeah. I would imagine there was a lot of fuck you votes. I would imagine you were not the first or the last fuck you vote. To be the Enriquez. And then people refuse to claim Democrat or Republican or put into the indie category and then ask which party do you lean towards. Yeah. It's like you're still kind of herded into one of the two parties. If they don't represent your interests, they shouldn't get your vote. People need to start voting for what they want, not necessarily what they're scared of. If you vote for what you're scared of, you're going to get a terrifying fucking world, which is the world that you got. Vote for what you want. There's a big difference in those things. It forces the politician to behave a different way. Yeah. Cat Stefani, yep, a big fuck you. Yeah. Tomoso Young, wow, I can see why, but Trump is an extreme. I voted for Jill Scott in my fuck you vote. Yeah, agreed, Tomoso. I was the same way. Trump seemed way too over the top for me. Like, I couldn't in no way envision myself voting for that fucking maniac. So, I understand your fuck you vote. I'm not to each his own. I was not going to make that vote. Because, look, ultimately, I still thought Trump was a wild card. I thought he was a fucking lunatic. And he lied every time he opened his mouth. That's the first part. And the last thing I want is to put nuclear weapons in the hands of that fucking maniac. $1 trillion a year military budget. I have no clue what he's going to do in that office. Hillary Clinton may start a war, so no, she's not getting my vote. But I don't know what the fuck Donald Trump is going to do in the office, so hell no, he's not getting my vote. Hell no. Jill Stein can have my vote. If Hillary Clinton loses because I voted for Jill Stein, fair enough. There's my fuck you vote. I live in Virginia. She won Virginia, so there you go. But to each his own, man. I can understand people getting that pissed. It's just, he's so gross. Like, I'm sorry, he's so gross. There's no way I could have voted for Trump. There's no way. Cat Stefani, nah, no way I'd vote for Trump, but I can definitely see fuck you votes. Yeah, me too. Me too. Bob Ruminaire, so you're willing to risk Hillary's inning? I don't know what that means. Hillary inning? Oh, you mean Hillary get in? Well, my vote wasn't based on this thing of whether she was going to get in or whether I was going to keep her out. My vote was more so based on who do I want in that office. Between everybody, who most represents my values? That would have been Green Party. Neither of the other parties represented my values. Which one was going to start a war? I don't know. If either was likely to start a war, should they get my vote? Hell no. that made the choice pretty straightforward for me. Jill Stein. Jill Stein. So, I think the vote count for Jill was rigged too. Here's the thing, man. We don't know. The paper ballots. We should have paper ballots. We have a horrible voting system in this country. I think we're ranked like 23rd or something in regards to voting, or in regards to election integrity. Our voting system is atrocious, and it has nothing to do with Russia. I mean, if you want to talk about the way we can knock people off the voter rolls, that in and of itself is immensely gross for a country to do. This idea that you don't have automatically, a citizen where you can just vote. You could just show up and actually just make your vote. That's fucking amazing that they exclude people in these ways. These kind of like interstate cross checks, or even in the primaries, the way they were knocking Sanders off the voter rolls. Even the machines themselves. I challenge the integrity of the machines themselves. It's problematic. You have the situation where somebody will look at the voter totals. These totals don't match, and they would go around and change the actual voter totals to match machines. I find this to be amazing. It's immensely amazing. So, who knows what Jill Stein votes were? Who knows? I have no clue. I think, just as flat fact common sense, that if you're going to have an election, the goal of the election should be to figure out who the fuck won the election, and who honestly won the election. The goal of the election is not to get a particular person elected. The goal of the election is to get the will of the people enacted. And electing a person, meaning you need to actually know who fucking won. I don't care if Donald Trump wins, as long as he wins it honestly. I don't care if Hillary Clinton beats Bernie, as long as she does it honestly. I don't know if we can, in good faith, say that all of that is true. Meaning we need to see about the integrity of our elections. It's a big fucking deal. Even the way we exclude third parties, that's a problem. That's a problem. It allows the other two parties to essentially hold sway. Buying off two parties is pretty easy, giving you this idea of Coke and Pepsi with one is a little bit less sweet. So the perspective of the population is that these guys who are a little bit less sweet is actual resistance going against the other party that's a little bit more sweet. It's insane. It's fucking insane. To beat the Enriquez, we were presented with the two choices. Neither would serve the people. They both would serve the same messages. So which would be the effective at getting these policies passed? HRC, which is why we rejected her. Oh, I see what you mean. You're saying who would have been most likely to get stuff passed that you didn't like? Hillary Clinton, yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, she would have a Republican House and a Republican Senate. They would have been investigating that woman from the time she got in office to the time she left. It was a fucking mess. I was so proud to vote for Jill and so thankful that the candidate who I voted for is absolutely loved and admired. Agreed. I proudly voted for Jill Stein. Agreed. Rob Illinois, save the bread, it feeds people, damn it. Melted Pearls and Lori. J. Scott, I hope you guys are happy when Trump appoints a Supreme Court pick. Ugh. That's where the rubber meets the road, man. That's where the rubber meets the road. I'm going to make an argument. I may fail in this argument, but I'm going to make an argument anyway. Fuck it. Let's be dangerous. Nothing that happens without somebody taking a hit. During the civil rights movement, you had Martin Luther King, all of these guys getting murdered and shot because they wanted civil rights. Somebody had to take the lift. Cornel West talks about this time where Martin Luther King is dragged into a jail cell by these cops, these racist cops. And at the point, he's like at the mercy of these guys. And they're sicking him with dogs and all this other stuff. And he comes out like just rattled, making this point of this is what I have to pay for my people to be free. You can talk about the worker rights movements, these kind of this push for workers' rights and progressivism. This in this particular country, we've had some violent riots within regards to attacking workers. All of those things. The point of, I'm just trying to get to a point. Nothing is done without taking a hit to do it. From a progressive point of view, and from the leftist point of view, is it better off to have Hillary Clinton in office or not? Now, in 4 years, regardless of what Hillary Clinton does in that office, you're going to get the same arguments saying, hey, these guys are batshit crazy. These guys are rabid maniacs. There's no way you can vote for them. You have to vote for Hillary Clinton. Doesn't matter what she did in those 4 years. You got to vote for her again. Meaning, you're going to split the opposition. There's not going to be a situation in which you're going to primary Hillary Clinton in 4 years. Meaning, it doesn't matter what she does in office. The moment she gets in that office, she'll be able to do whatever she wants. With one caveat. She's probably going to have a Republican House and a Republican Senate. And they're going to investigate her from the time she gets in that office to the time she leaves that office. If you're a progressive, from a leftist point of view, you have a fucking monster in that office. You have the actual face of America, the way it interacts with the world and the way it interacts with us, the citizenry itself, in that office. If you can't make the argument against this kind of capitalistic, this hegemonic view of cash markets over people, with the worst kleptocrat in that office that we've had in the time that I've known, when can you make it? Like, you know, having Obama in that office, he, for the most part, can be this kind of public relations person. He sings and he dances and all that. He has a lovely family. He looks the part. He has a certain amount of gravitas when he talks and all this other stuff. He's a fucking warmonger. He was murdering civilians left and right. Not to mention giving 95% of the wealth to the top 1%. If you can't make the argument with somebody who is doing worse than that, and doesn't care that he's doing worse than that, meaning he does it in the open, then when can you make the argument? Your best chance, your best opportunity, is with Donald Trump in that office. And pray to a God that doesn't exist that one of these guys don't die in the Supreme Court. That's all you got. Yes, it's a tactic. Yes, you're hurting yourself in order to do this tactic. It's almost like you're stabbing yourself in the arm in order to kind of, you know, reach around with your knife. But there are things that are availing this country that needs to be dealt with. And currently, the configuration of the Democratic Party in no way deals with those things. There are some times where you need to get your house in order. If that means that that maniac gets a Supreme Court pick, God, I hope he doesn't, but if that means he gets a Supreme Court pick, pray that one of them, oh, this sounds bad. Pray that if one of those people die, that it's a conservative. If he puts a batshit crazy maniac on the Supreme Court, there's already a batshit crazy maniac on the Supreme Court. Just hope it's not one of the leftist jurors or justices. Yes, it's a tactic. Yes, it's horrible and fucking horrible for 4 years. In 4 years, though, you're going to get a chance to take down the presidency, and you're going to get a chance to redo what takes place in regards to the Democratic Party. That chance would have never taken place if Hillary Clinton would have won the election. It's going to suck for 4 years. Yes. Be ready for your chance. Hillary won the popular vote by 3 million. BS. It could have been California. I mean, California is fucking massive. Like, if you look at the map itself, she lost all of these states. The only thing she won were on the wings. She might have racked up a huge number of votes in California, but it's not necessarily indicative of the rest of the country. You think Scalia was snuffed? I don't think Scalia was snuffed. No, no, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. Jay Scott, yes, Dax, if he gets another pick, we lose the Supreme Court for the next 20 years. Just hope that it's one of the conservative justices. That's all I'm saying. 4 years. It's just like, hold on for 4 years. Hold the line. Hold the line. Hold the line for 4 years. Bernie blew his opportunity. Maybe, yes. Maybe. He should have went for the jugular early on, but again, man, we're all stuck with our expectations. He didn't necessarily expect to do that well. He was a heart attack waiting to happen. Cat Stefani. Lori Mountain Girl Pal. Numbers showed 3 million votes was California. That's what I thought. Yeah, California. Yeah. Alright. I think I'm going to play some chess tonight. So I have one more after this that's probably, my wife said she'd be a 420. Yeah, my wife said she'd be 420, so I'll make it 420. Alright, guys. I am going to be fair, as the most progressive state in the country voted for Hillary Clinton. Yeah, it did. It's politics, man. When they're like, she won by 3 million votes, nobody ever really says, hey, you know, most of those came from California. Like, nobody ever brings that up. They always just assume that, you know, she just massively outvoted in all these parts of the country. It was localized to the shores. Dax Jacobson, good luck with your chess. I've been doing pretty poorly. I have to be honest. There's certain things that as a person I try to grow by. I don't always succeed in those things. Some of them I do succeed or get better at. One of these things is kind of I'm an Aries moon, and anybody who knows anything about astrology, I'm an Aries moon. I tend to be hot-tempered, and not hot-tempered, but it's balanced tempered, but emotionally I can be somewhat hot. Double Virgo Aries moon. It's an odd combination. There's this aspect of me where I try to I give an example. Getting to an argument with my wife, and then you're thinking to yourself, I'm really upset about this. And then I try to think right afterwards, like, but you know, in 10 minutes, you're not going to be upset with her. You're going to be perfectly okay. Both of you are going to be okay with each other. So why are you upset now? It seems ridiculous to be upset now if you know that you're not going to be upset in 10 minutes. And I feel silly at that point, and my anger kind of goes away. It's kind of that way with chess. I have a bit of an ego with regards to chess. Now, that ego was earned, by the way. I used to be 2032 or something like that. And I was proud as can be when I broke the 2,000 barrier in the United States Chess Federation. And then I promptly stopped playing. I hadn't played in a tournament in years. And to be overly optimistic, to be like, fuck it, I'm going to go to a tournament and I'm just going to play. That did not go well. So I've started like just playing around town. Playing at friends' house, I have not done well. And I've gotten my ass handed to me by people who I've handed them their ass like in perpetuity for like years, like never losing a game for like years, and joking them and being a bit of a prick because I grew up in a barbershop and we talk shit to each other, and then having to deal with the indignity of meeting those same people on the way down and those people talking shit to me. So it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's just you suck it up. Oh, Lori Mountain Girl, thank you. Appreciate it. Pride goeth before the fall, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm anti-Trump, not pro-Hillary. I'm neither. Many, if not most of those 3 million votes were simply anti-Trump, not pro-Hillary. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to call it a day. Alright, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, rate, subscribe, and of course, you can always support the Patreon. And guys, I do appreciate the donations. It's funny, I never know how to there's an aspect in my head that gets it and thinks to itself, oh, the indignity of getting it. But at the same token, it's like, well, yeah, this is just a society that you live in, and we're showing appreciation. Just feels awkward. My wife is like, why are you feeling awkward about XYZ? Why do people feel awkward anything about anything? Why do people feel any way about anything? My point is, I appreciate it. That's a long roundabout way of saying, yes, I appreciate it. And thank you. All right, guys. Have a good night.